Although there are many different image formats for volumes, I highly recommend saving any volume you load in as an NRRD. Depending on the type of volume you loaded in, this may require some different conversion steps. I'll be touching on the ones required for an image stack, which is what you'll typically run into. The first thing to know is that an image stack won't contain any metadata about your volume. So for instance, if I go to the volumes module and I look at my volume information, you'll see that the image spacing is set to 1 millimeter on each axis for this particular volume I've loaded in. In reality, the scan was at a 8.1 micrometer resolution. That means before I save this as an RD, I need to set the correct image spacing. Because Slicer saves everything in millimeters, I will need to make this volume 0.0081 millimeters on each axis. You can see this has disappeared out of frame, but I can just easily recenter that with this button in the upper left. Now that I have set the correct spacing, I will need to convert this from what's called a vector to a scalar volume. Now, typically when we think of vector files in computer terms, an example would be like Adobe Illustrator files. That's not quite what Slicer means in this case. As far as I've been able to find, what Slicer calls a vector file is essentially a file composed of images that have some sort of compression. So things like a JPEG or a bitmap that I'm working with now. Slicer can't do very many things on vector volumes, which is why you will need to convert to scalar before saving as an NRRD. To do this, you can just go to All Modules and then find the vector to scalar volume. And you just select your input volume and then create a new volume as. I will typically rename it with the scan name, the resolution, and then the fact that it's scalar. Then you would click apply. Now, this is going to take quite a long time because this is a very large file, so I'm going to pause it and come back once the conversion process is done. Now that my volume has converted into a scalar volume, I can save this as an NRRD. I'll just have to click the save button up in the upper left there, and then I can make sure my rodent scalar volume is selected. You'll see it automatically chooses the NRRD. I'm just going to uncheck these since I don't need to save over them. And then I can click on my directory and pick wherever I want to save it. Then I'll just click save, and it will save there. I should note that, especially for this large of a file, it can take almost half an hour to save certain files.